What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This video is going to be a discussion between me and MademB about the Fallout games. And for those who haven't watched the channel, Fallout is one of my all-time favorite video game series. Now, um, she was asking me some questions, and I was explaining my obsession with the games, things I liked and what I didn't like, what they could do better. So we'll just pick up at where we left off, in which I was explaining to her what the concept of the Raiders were, and now the Fallout games do take place 200 years after the nuclear holocaust between America and China over basically resources. Of course, normally when you see end of the world scenarios like this, post-apocalyptic settings and stuff, there's always that one segment of the populace that decides they want to be rebellious and do crazy stuff and look out for their own. So those are what the Raiders basically are, and they're in every game, in one form or another. My only issue with the Raiders are, I wish that they would play more of a prominent role rather than be more of a nuisance. In the Shadow of Mordor game, there's this thing called a nemesis system, right? And basically, the bad guys, they have this kind of ranking system, and I wish this one won't fall out to adopt, where if you fight a group of raiders and they kill you, their name gets, that whoever kills you name gets out there, and they become like a boss. And if you kill them, there's like another raider takes his place, like a general. They become, maybe they might have like special skills or something. But that's what happens in the Shadow of Mordor game. If you kill one of the bosses, another one will take his place. If one of those orcs kill you, he gets promoted to a higher rank.
So was there ever a leader or anything in the Raiders?
That
It
was
was just a bunch of people.
No. Each, just like I say, each game is just a bunch of people. Now, Fallout 4 did introduce kind of like bosses with the leaders, but it's not like you can talk with them or establish business or trade or anything with them. But they did take a step in the right direction with that. I just hope in the next game, when it comes to the Raiders, that they actually utilize this a little bit more. Give them a organization. Give them some type of clans and stuff. That way that'll help. Because New Vegas did do it with the Great Khans. Like there was a group of Raiders that you could talk to and deal with. And then they had the other ones which were like meth heads and stuff.
So in your experience in playing the game, you're out exploring or doing missions. How often do you run into the Raiders?
And you run into them all the freaking time, almost every turn. Usually the only time you don't run into them is usually in heavily infected areas where it's mutants and stuff. More in like the open areas. But if it's like in the city, yeah, you're gonna run into them a lot.
Did they have like a cutoff point where you didn't go and you knew that's where they were, or you didn't know?
I mean, it gets to a point where you know where they at. It does get to a point where you know where they at. They're pretty established. Sometimes you'll see them walking around. And it's always fun having those encounters. But there's like really no. I mean, they're all set places in every game. And so you'll know where they at.
All right. Okay, you say it takes place 200 years after.
And the thing is, and see, the series is themed off the 1950s. So that's why you hear those 1950s songs.
Yeah.
And those funny looking cars and stuff like that. And if you look at it, all the references to the 1950s, like, what is it? like with the way the robots and stuff are designed and everything, and the way that and the clothing styles in the game. All of them had a 1950s thing, and yes, it does. 200 years after that.
All right, so you're up after you were frozen, right?
And 4, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you're up and out and about, and like, what do you do? What's on your mind, or how it is in the game? Like what do you do? Like, do you encounter any Mylarks then, or any bad people then, or do you have to go a little bit further to the game?
It depends. Within your first mission, you do meet raiders, because there's this group of settlers that are stuck inside this building, and the raiders are assaulting it. So you help them out. And that's what I was telling you, you get the power armor, and then as soon as you get the power armor and you fight the raiders, the Death Claw shows up. Which I will say 4 did a great job of making the Death Claw. Like, they did a better focus on the creatures having specific abilities. And this is where I like with in Fallout 3, they had to set creatures. In Fallout New Vegas, the creatures had like variety. It was more like you saw if there was a Death Claw or something. There was a young Death Claw. There was an adolescent Death Claw. There's the adult Death Claw, and then there's the bigger legendary Death Claw. Like, I like that because it was like you can see like the different stages of their lives, and other creatures had the same thing, like the mole rats, the wolves. The coyotes. Like, they had different stages of their lives, lives. And in Fallout 4, they gave the creatures more specific abilities, and they kind of did have like the stages, but they kind of did roll back on it. So, like with the Mylarks, which I think they did more of the more focus on the Mylarks than anything. Because you do see the baby Mylarks. They're cute, but they can kill you. They're a nuisance. But then you see the regular Mylarks. You see the Mylark hunters, which they look like shrimp. And that was like one of the overhauls for the creation of it. So it's like, okay. There's the Razor Claw Mylarks. Then, of course, the Mylark Queens, which are introduced in the game, which are actually one of the best creatures that they've ever put out for the series. But I think what was the question?
Okay. Let me do another one. Okay, in the games you have played, can you pick out, like, out of each one, either one or two things that you like just love about that game, or whether it be the weapons, the armor, the the background, how can you do that?
In all the games, I will say I love the general setting. Like I said, in the third one, you're in Washington D.C. In the New Vegas, you're in Nevada / Arizona / you're in that area. And then, of course, you're in Boston in part 4. And all of the settings look really good. So it has tons of time for exploration, find hidden content, as well as just a good setting. Sometimes you just sit back and just look at how expensive the maps are. So in all of the games, I will say that and as far as maybe possibly having it's basically just a setting. The setting and the freedom. Those are the two things I like about all the games. It has a great, expansive setting, and then the freedom to go do whatever the hell you want to do.
Okay.
So that's my thing when it comes to that's my thumbs up thing for all the games. And like I said, I think if you start playing them, you'd have to get used to the kind of the controls a little bit and how things work, but you get the hang of it. I remember when I first played the game, I said I didn't like it, and I put it back. I took it back, and then ended up buying it again and played it, and I was like, this is a pretty good game. So when I managed to get out the first vault to go look for my father, the first one, ran to some raiders. They had me on the run. It was so, they almost killed me. Like, and this is how messed up it was. I took off running after fighting them, and I hid under a bridge, and they were hunting me. Like, you know how like under the bridge, like a highway, they had you can hide up under it, you can get up under it.
Yeah.
I hid back there, and I could see them run across the way looking for me. And I was like, they're gone. So I snuck off that way. And once you beat one of them, once you get the controls of one game, you got the controls for all of them.
All right. I noticed. Like, I don't see you playing 4. I noticed the weapons. They kind of look like primitive. Like, you know, they weren't like big new machine guns or anything like that. Like, how did they get made? What are your
there's some futuristic weapons, and there's in Fallout 4. There's 2 types of weapons. There's like the scrap weapons, and there's the weapons. And the scrap weapons are the ones that look like somebody built out of scrap, like the pipe pistols and stuff like that. And then they got the regular weapons, which is like, you know, your 45. They do have the minigun, but each game has a different, somewhat incarnation of that. The weapons are, I believe they're still being developed, which was kind of a storyline in New Vegas, I believe, the Gunrunner story, which I never got to. I didn't get to play. I hadn't played yet, but I will when I get a chance. Some of it is they're finding them, like these huge weapon caches. So, like in I believe in 4, you find this factory place that's filled with super mutants. But when you get to the bottom of it, it has a bunch of mini nukes.
What about the armor? Is it hard to maneuver, or?
The only thing what's lovely about it is, again, like in every game, you get the armor, but in the first 2 and 3 in New Vegas, it's more of a costume outfit, and it doesn't have weight to it and nothing like that. It does, but it doesn't. Now 4 is actually like a object itself. You can customize it. It does give you increased strength. It does increase your durability. The only thing you kind of watch is because it can be damaged, because you do have to repair it if you take enough damage.
But you can't carry that much, because I know, you know, whenever you play it, it will like your weight's getting heavy, or
you do have to watch your weight too. But that is a perk. If you do, it's called being over encumbered, but there is a perk if you become over encumbered. You can it'll help you out with it. But you do gotta watch the damage. You gotta watch being over encumbered, and you gotta watch your fuel cells, because is it called a fuel? It's not called fuel cells. Can't remember what it's called, but it powers it, and if you run out of the cells, you'll walk really slow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you have any, I guess is how you say, favorite perks? I don't know if there's any favorite or not.
I did like the perks, and I'm harping on 4 more because that's the one I played recently. I don't remember. Now in New Vegas, they kind of screwed you a little bit. In 3, every level you went up, you can choose a perk. You go up 30 levels, you can have 30 perks. Some perks are more ability specific, and some, like say if your strength, you want to get your strength up, it'll let you boost your strength up. Or some, like what was one, you can heal from in radiation.
Mm-hmm.
When radiation normally kills you. There's also another one which I like them for. You can intimidate your opponents and control them. And then there was a perk where you could do it to robots. Perk you can do it to humans, and perk you can do it to any of your animals. Which was that one time I recorded me taking over that behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was one, I had another one where I took over the Mirelurk Queen.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I had her go attack the other Mirelurks and stuff. Now that was awesome. Like there are perks that help you with your speech. It's like if you're a woman, it'll boost up your speech towards manipulating men. Or if you're a man, it'll boost up your speech towards manipulating women.
Okay.
And there's a lot, but I'm sorry, in New Vegas, in 3, if you had, you can go up 30 levels, you get 30 perks. In New Vegas, I think you get 30 levels, but you get a perk once every 2 levels, which I didn't like that. Plus, a lot of them perks they had in that game I didn't like.
Well, how long would it take you to reach a new level?
It depends on the mission you do, the amount of enemies you kill, the items that you collect, how much you explore. It depends on like so many factors. Because everything you do, you get a certain amount of experience.
So you find stuff like along the way, and you just anything that'll be of use, you just pick it up.
You can take it if you want. You can either sell it, and more specifically, and again, I could go back to 4 really, because in 3 in New Vegas, you can get junk and you can sell it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it's there for. 4, it's a little bit more. They do a little bit more with it, such as crafting. So if you get cans or something, like with the settlements that I was building, that's why I kept getting all that trash. I'd store it into the settlement, and then if I needed to build walls and stuff, it broke down the material for me, so I could build the walls. Or if I needed material to customize my weapons, customize my armor, customize my power armor, it would take it from that heaps of trash and stuff that I had. So it made collecting the trash useful.
Okay.
And that's basically one of the highlights of the games, especially when it comes to collecting trash and stuff like that. But not too much in other games. If you did collect trash, you sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, I hope in the next game they kind of do that. But I hope they also utilize it a little bit more. Like say if somebody's a junker, says, hey, if you give me some trash, I give you some money. That'll help utilize scrap.
So money is still a factor in there.
Yeah, it's different, slightly, but not really. They don't use money per se. They use caps.
Okay.
Like bottle caps. And you will find a lot of money, like bills and stuff, and it's totally useless.
Yeah, you can't do nothing with it.
Mm-hmm. But the bottle caps is an interesting idea. So if you drink like their version of Coca-Cola, which is called Duca-Cola, you can you'll hear it. Whatever, if you drink it, you'll use that. You'll take that cap. New Vegas did a thing where they had certain caps that had stars in them, and they were utilized for a specific mission. So I was like, I hope they would bring that back, because you help make bottle caps collecting worth it. Outside of actually having currency, it actually helps with something else.
Okay.
And I would like to see, like the next game, which I ended up wrote down like 30 things I wanted to see in the Fallout 5 game.
So they have one coming out?
It's being, I'm not sure if it's being confirmed, but it's after Fallout 4. If people have just wanted to jump onto the whole bandwagon when it comes to the Fallout game. Which after this, I might actually start shooting those videos. I just want to record it like this.
Oh, okay.
But as far as the Fallout 5, because the Fallout games have not been perfect. For like the 80% of the game that is just flawless in the gaming experience, the 20% that it has, you know what, I might say 90%, but the 10%, because the games do have moments where the loading times are horrendous, and too many loading times. Like you saw when I was playing the Just Cause 2. See how big that map was? The only time you saw it loading really on any point was when I was like having that guy take me to a certain spot. Now the game is limited because you can't go like in buildings and caves and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying, there ain't really no loading. And the Fallout does have like really long loading times. Also, there are problems when it comes to the graphics and the game engine itself. It was one time I was playing the game and a death claw was in front of me, so I went to go to attack it, and next thing you know, it just shot up into the air.
Is it supposed to do that?
No. I was like, what? That part where you saw the guy clothes kept coming off?
Yeah. That's
a part of the problem too. That's part of the game engine problem. So it does have its share of problems. And I explained to you about the companions. Sometimes companions are useless. Sometimes the companions will just up and just disappear. But I do have solutions for those, and I'm gonna end up shooting videos for that also. Explaining. There's gonna be 30 of them, but I'm gonna try to make them short. But like I said, I think if you got into it, you would really enjoy it. It's a whole lot of content to it. You're gonna learn about so much that went on with the different characters in the world. Each companion feels unique. They have their own little side missions and stuff. But it's actually an entertaining experience. You really would like it.
Okay.
Is there any other questions you wanted to ask?
No, not really. Not at the time I think of.
Okay. Well, we greatly appreciate you guys sticking here with us and enjoying this conversation when we talk about Fallout. I know I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that she was here to give me the opportunity to finally get on camera and talk about it. And in the comment section below, guys, let us know what do you think about the discussion that we just had about Fallout, and also what things you agreed and didn't agree with. And also be sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, and notification button to get the best of what's going on here on the Narik Chase channel. And we'll just see you guys later.